What if the way you think about portable gaming is about to be completely obliterated by a revelation that's been years in the making? Imagine a single console that doesn't just offer a slight performance bump but fundamentally re-engineers the idea of gaming on the move, taking the revolutionary spirit of the original Nintendo Switch, injecting it with modern power, cutting-edge precision, and pure, unrestrained imagination. If the sheer thought of unboxing a next-generation device sends a jolt of electricity through you, if you've ever held the original Switch and whispered, "This could be so much more," then what you're about to hear might just be the most exhilarating piece of gaming news you'll experience all year. And while you're thinking about it, leave a comment below and tell me the one feature you need the Switch 2 to have. Today, we are deep diving into the epicenter of the gaming world's rumor mill, the long-awaited, heavily leaked Nintendo Switch 2. And trust me, if even a fraction of these insider whispers and supply chain leaks hold true, we are looking at the foundation of one of the greatest hybrid consoles ever conceived. The initial Nintendo Switch wasn't just a product. It was a global phenomenon, a paradigm shift that cemented the idea of console-quality gaming anywhere, anytime, uniting over 130 million players, kids, lifelong fans, and newcomers alike, under the simple, brilliant banner of "Play Your Way." Yet, as enduring and iconic as the Switch's design is, we all felt the limitations creep in. The noticeable chugging, the texture pop-in, the aging architecture struggling valiantly against the demands of modern game engines, essentially creating a legendary machine trapped within a noticeably underpowered body. While it gave us undisputed masterpieces like The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and Super Mario Odyssey, it also delivered consistent frame rate drops, resolution dips, and a persistent 7-year-old reminder that the hardware was simply too far behind the curve of an ever-evolving gaming landscape. This is precisely the vacuum the Switch 2 is preparing to fill, not as the incremental Switch Pro refreshed gamers beg for in 2021, but as a full generational leap driven by technology Nintendo has historically reserved for pure fantasy. Over the last year, a deluge of information, patents, detailed developer reports, consistent supply chain confirmations, and reliable insider predictions has been stacking up like pieces of a monolithic puzzle. Taken individually, they are fascinating, but when assembled, they forge a narrative so coherent, so believable, and so detailed that even the most hardened skeptics are beginning to ask, with genuine excitement, is this truly happening? The conversation starts, as it must, with the one factor poised to rewrite the rules: raw performance. The original Switch utilized an adapted NVIDIA Tegra X1 chip, brilliant for its time, but nowhere near the firepower of its PlayStation and Xbox rivals. But the rumored Switch 2 powerhouse, the NVIDIA T239, operates on an entirely different plane of existence. Multiple high-level sources are aligned. This is not a marginal spec bump, but complete technological overhaul, and the most revolutionary aspect isn't the brute force, but the secret weapon nested deep within its architecture: DLSS, or Deep Learning Supersampling. For those who aren't constantly immersed in hardware deep dives, here is the simplest explanation. The Switch 2 won't need to natively render games in 4K resolution to output an immaculate 4K image. Instead, it renders at a lower, less demanding resolution, then leverages NVIDIA's sophisticated AI model to reconstruct every single frame into an image that is flawlessly crisp, profoundly detailed, and visually astonishing. This means lower power consumption, exponentially better battery life, and visual fidelity that genuinely competes with home consoles. Imagine a new Mario or Metroid Prime 4 running with level of detail sharper than anything Nintendo has ever released, a handheld device delivering stunning 4K output on your living room TV, all while staying cool, quiet, and incredibly efficient. And as if that wasn't game-changing enough, insiders are claiming the Switch 2 will run certain titles at a silky smooth, locked 60 frames per second, perhaps even pushing higher frame rates for optimized legacy titles in handheld mode, turning what for years was a necessary concession for Nintendo fans into a revolution in visual quality and responsiveness. But true console greatness is measured by more than just power. It's about the feeling, the magic of the physical interaction, and this is where Nintendo has historically proven its genius. That is why one of the most anticipated and crucial upgrades surrounds the off-malign Joy-Cons. Everyone knows the story. Joy-Con drift became a technological scar, a persistent headache, and eventually, the subject of class action lawsuits, a problem Nintendo appears determined to completely eradicate. Rumors overwhelmingly point to an entirely redesigned and fundamentally different attachment mechanism, stronger, more reliable, potentially utilizing a magnetic system, moving past the old sliding rails to deliver a satisfying, premium click that instantly signals high quality and next-generation design. The haptic feedback is also rumored to be exponentially more advanced, promising hyper-detailed sensory experiences that translate virtual actions into subtle, realistic physical feelings. Imagine feeling the texture of virtual cobblestones underfoot, the distinct sensation of individual raindrops hitting your palm, or the varying impact of running across different terrains. This is a level of immersion the current Switch hardware could never begin to approach. Next up is the viewport itself. For years, the collective plea from the community has been for a display that is simply bigger, brighter, and significantly sharper. And according to leak after leak, the Switch 2 is set to finally deliver with a game-changing 8-inch screen. This expansion doesn't just increase size, it radically transforms a handheld experience, preventing worlds from feeling cramped and making every game more cinematic, more alive, and infinitely more engaging. Whether Nintendo opts for a new generation of high-end LCD or a large-format OLED, the consensus is clear. The new screen will instantly make the current Switch display feel constrained and obsolete. And now we confront the question that carries the most weight, the fear that keeps every loyal Switch owner awake at night. The nightmare scenario of losing their beloved library. Will your current games work on the Switch 2? According to most credible insider sources, the answer appears to be a definitive, resounding asterisk yes. And not only will they work, but they will be enhanced, with your original Switch games potentially running at boosted resolutions, enjoying cleaner visuals, improved performance, and drastically faster loading times. Imagine Asterisk Tears of the Kingdom running at a stable 60 frames per second, or Mario Kart 8 Deluxe looking sharper than you ever thought possible. Your entire digital and physical library instantly upgraded without you needing to lift a finger. That kind of consumer-respecting, value-driven move could trigger a historic adoption rate on day one. But what about the content designed explicitly for this new technological beast? The launch lineup rumors are electrifying. Talk an open-world 3D Mario that takes the formula further than ever before, a next-generation Donkey Kong adventure utilizing advanced, physics-driven gameplay, and a new Mario Kart intended to be a perpetually updated live service platform for the entire console generation. And of course, there's Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, a title that has been quietly cooking for years, evolving in the shadows into something truly worthy of a next-generation reveal. Imagine the first trailer. Samus Aran rendered in perfect 4K with ray-trace lighting effects, exploring alien biomes that push Nintendo's technology further than any previous game, a defining, industry-shaking moment that loudly announces, Nintendo is back in a power game. As for the reveal, the strongest reports unanimously point toward a massive announcement event preceding a confirmed launch window of June 2025, and whether it takes a form of surprise Nintendo Direct or a global showcase, one thing is certain. When Nintendo pulls the curtain back on the Switch 2, the internet will fracture, social media will be consumed, and the gaming world will ignite overnight. We cannot ignore the practical consideration of the price. The original Switch launched at $300, and with all this new technology, the current speculation places the Switch 2 in a range of $400 to $450. A potential increase Nintendo may look to soften by offering two models, a digital-only version and one supporting the physical cartridge format. This strategy intelligently mirrors the approach taken by Sony and Microsoft, offering a more affordable entry point while simultaneously capitalizing on the booming digital sales market. Finally, let's talk ecosystem. Nintendo is expected to introduce dramatically improved social features, including native game chat, a built-in microphone, a smoother online infrastructure, and new sharing tools, all working together to create a console designed not just for solo gameplay, but for effortlessly sharing experiences, epic moments, and memories with friends. So, what is the final conclusion? If these aggregated leaks and insider reports prove accurate, the Nintendo Switch 2 is far more than an iterative console. It represents a turning point where Nintendo's legendary, magical creativity finally merges with cutting-edge modern power, a device that honors and enhances your current library while simultaneously unlocking an unimaginable new world of possibilities, a console that plays everything, everywhere, in stunning fidelity. If the original Switch redefined gaming history, The Switch 2 is poised to reshape its future. If you are excited for Nintendo Switch 2, if you're ready for a new era of portable power, and if you want to see your most cherished games in a way you never thought possible, then get ready. Because the countdown isn't a question of anymore, but when, and that moment is arriving much sooner than anyone anticipates. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.